everybody, I just wanted to give you an update on what's been going on since my intro video. So I've had my nutritionist appointment, I had my Psych Eval, I had the endoscopy, and then the second of 3 insurance required office visits. So as far as the nutritionist appointment, she went through everything with me as far as what the liquid diet was going to consist of, what the full liquid diet was going to consist of post-op, and then, you know, what my pureed foods and the soft foods and then the regular foods going forward. We went over portions. She went through what my portions should sort of look like now pre-op, and she showed me a plate that had maybe 3 ounces of a protein, half a cup of vegetable, and half a cup of carbs. And then she showed me what it would look like, the portions would look like after the surgery, when I start having regular food. And she was showing me that it would still be about 3 ounces of protein, quarter cup of vegetable, and a quarter cup of carb. She said you could, if you don't eat that much, you can combine, you can do the protein and the vegetable or the protein and the carb, but the protein was non-negotiable. And that's something that we all realize as we're doing our research and seeing all the YouTube videos and all the Instagram stuff. So it was really good. She was happy with me because I had lost just about 13 pounds since the initial consultation with their office. So I was happy too, of course. They put me on, they weighed me on this body scanner thing where you stand on there barefoot, and there's metal underneath you, and then you hold on to these 2 handles with your hands, and it scans you, and it not only takes your weight, but it takes down how much your body is lean muscle mass. It tells you how much of it is fat, how much of it is, water, stuff like that. It was really an interesting weighing thingy. And the report that she gave me was pretty interesting too. She wanted me to, she said that at this point I could eat 1,300 calories pre-op, 1,300 calories. And I told her that I hadn't even been doing that. I had been kind of on my own, just sticking to anywhere between 900 to 1,100 calories, and 1,100 was pretty, it was pretty on the high end, that I don't really reach that often. But she said, oh, now you can eat a couple more 100 calories. And I was like, oh, that's good. But I still haven't gotten to a point to get to the 1,300 calories, because I just feel like I'm okay with what I'm eating now, and so I've kind of stuck to it. After that appointment, that same day I had a Psych Eval, and that went really well too, because the psychologist and I were chatting like we were chatting over a cup of coffee and getting to know each other. And we were chatting so much, she said, oh my God, I think I forgot to ask you some of these questions. And so, like, towards the last maybe 5 or 10 minutes of the visit is when she started asking me the questions. But she said, and I had told her about my history, my cancer history, and other things that have happened to me. And she said, oh my God, I think that with the changes you've made so far, and the things that you've already been through, I think this is going to be a breeze, and so I'm just going to go ahead and clear you. So that made me really happy. And I went to my first support group meeting that day. That same day, that was a busy day for me. So that same day I went to a support group meeting, and that was really cool because we had a post-op patient that was there and was answering questions for us. And that post-op person had started off with a lap band and then went to the sleeve. And so she was telling us about a lot of things that she went through, and she had lost 100 pounds. So it was really cool to be able to talk to somebody right there. So that was that one day. And what I thought was really great about this whole process is the paperwork that I would have needed to fill out prior to the nutritionist appointment and the Psych Eval. I've seen some videos where people have had to fill out the paperwork right before their appointments. But when I went in just before my initial appointment, they already sent me that paperwork. So all of it was completed, and all of it was already with the nutritionist and the psychologist. So that saved me a ton load of time of having to fill out all that paperwork for those visits. So I was able to really get those 3 visits done in one day. Then probably a couple weeks later, I had my colonoscopy endoscopy combo, and everything went well there. I had to have, of course, the clear liquids because I had the colonoscopy. I had clear liquids the day before. So I was like, oh my God, this is what it's gonna be like for 7 days. 2 days prior to the surgery and then the 5 days after surgery. So it was okay. I was able to handle, but that was just 1 day. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna do for 7 days, but thankfully I think people that I've seen on Instagram and YouTube, they just haven't been hungry. So I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. Sorry, that's my phone. Somebody keeps texting me. So after the endoscopy and colonoscopy, I, waited a couple weeks, and then just yesterday, which was August 4th, I had my second visit with their office, the second required visit, because I need, 3 monthly visits to their office to a medically supervised weight loss program. And I met with one of their nurse practitioners, and she was really happy because even from the time that I had my nutritionist appointment, I had still lost more weight, a lot more weight. So I think from the time that I actually started kind of really being conscious of what I was eating and really trying to prepare myself for this new lifestyle, I had actually lost like 32 pounds on my own. And so she was really happy with that. And I was kind of worried because I asked her, if the insurance sees that I'm doing pretty well on my own, is there a possibility that they're just going to say, well, she's doing pretty well, so she can do it on her own and we're not going to approve it? But she reassured me that because my BMI was still high, and that I still had some comorbidities, which was the high blood pressure, stuff like that, that she didn't see that it was going to be a problem. So I was relieved about that. And one of the things that she asked me was, what changes have you made, in this so far, because you're going to have this surgery. What changes have you made? And I thought about it, and I kind of made a lot of changes. And I was really surprised at, the amount of changes that I made, for myself anyway. I really had, my portion control was really on point. I have been really cutting down on the amount of food that I eat at each meal. I mean, I was definitely a volume eater, and that was a big problem for me because I just loved, especially if I liked what I was eating, and that was very rare that I didn't like what I was eating. So, I would eat a lot of it, and so to cut it down considerably was a big thing for me. And so I would, if I was at a restaurant, my husband and I went out, I would order just like a cup of soup and maybe have like a half of a house salad, or I'd split a salad with my husband, or I'd just get an appetizer or whatever. I would just, when we went out to sushi, normally I would have, one of those combo meals, and then still have a couple of rolls or a couple of orders of sushi on the side. So now, I mean, when I go out to eat, I'll have 2 orders of sushi, which is like 4 pieces, and a house salad or a side salad. So that was a big thing for me. I also cut out soda from my life. I drink mostly water these days, infused water. If you follow my Instagram, you'll see how I've infused a couple of weeks with the lemon, cucumber, and mint, and then the apple cinnamon. So, I mean, cutting out soda was a big thing for me, even if it was diet soda, because I loved carbonation. I just loved it. So that was a big deal. I haven't had soda since the end of May. So that was a big change. I don't eat junk food anymore. I don't remember, since the end of May, I haven't had any kind of sweets. I haven't had potato chips, which I love. No fast food. That was a big thing for me, fast food. This is probably part confessions of a fat girl diary, but I would go to Del Taco, and I would get those macho beef burritos and a large fries and a Diet Coke, because the Diet Coke. Sometimes I'd be too embarrassed to order a Diet Coke because it seemed so stupid to order a Diet Coke, especially when I was ordering a macho beef burrito and a large fries. So I'd say just an iced tea. So it didn't look as bad as trying to order a Diet Coke with that huge, gigantic meal. So, fast food hasn't been in my life since the end of May. Let's see, what other changes have I made? Oh yeah, I've started to eat a lot slower. I make my meals last anywhere from 20 minutes to half an hour. I used to be a big devourer, so I could probably eat my meal in less than 10 minutes, no matter how big it was. And I would basically unhinge my jaw and empty my plate into my mouth. I don't know if I tasted it or not, but that's basically how I was eating. So now I'm eating a lot slower. I'm chewing my food to a pulp, at least 20, 30 chews per bite. I'm still having to practice not drinking when I'm eating. That's still going to be kind of a a thing for me. Hopefully, I'll be able to handle that one. Sorry, I had notes about things that I had talked to her about. I've cut starches out a lot. So I used to be a big, because I'm Asian and I love rice, and I am used to eating rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I, going from 3 huge portions of rice during the day, I would, I've gone to maybe a half a cup or a quarter cup once every couple weeks. So that's a big thing. I used to also love pastas and breads and and potatoes. I mean, all of that stuff I loved. And I just haven't had it. So that was a big change. I made some, when she asked me, I realized, that I made a lot of big changes in my life, in my eating lifestyle. And so I was really happy about that. And I am, and it's really preparing me to go forward, I think. I really have to, I'm so thankful for my husband, because he's very supportive of this whole process, but he goes to every single appointment with me. I make sure, that I made sure to tell him that if I'm doing this, that I want him at every single appointment so that he knows what's going on. And he has been to every single one. The only one he wasn't allowed at was the Psych Eval. But other than that, he has been to every single appointment, even to the support group meetings. And so I'm really thankful for that. That's one thing that that I feel grateful for in this process. He did ask me, though, one time why I didn't want to tell anybody why that I was going to have this surgery. And I said, you know what, this is a very private thing for me, and it's my journey. It's just something that I choose not to say to people, just because I don't want people knowing that I had the surgery, and then afterwards they're, some people I know, they watch you like a hawk. It's like, oh, what is she eating? Could she be eating that? Should she be eating that? All that kind of stuff. I just didn't feel like being under that kind of microscope. And so I told him that, and I said, you gotta respect that, please. Don't tell anybody. The only people who really know are my mom, my husband, my brother, and a couple close friends that I know for sure are not going to say anything to anybody. So that's where I'm at. I don't think I have anything else to talk about. That's it. That's where I'm at so far. I had gone to my primary care physician in May, and so they are trying my surgeon's office is trying to get that visit counted towards my 3 visits. So potentially that last visit to the nurse practitioner, which I thought was my 2nd visit, could potentially be my last visit before they submit everything to the insurance. So I have to find out in a couple of days if they're going to be able to use that primary care physician visit. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. As far as scheduling surgery, I am still looking, despite, in spite of when they submit the paperwork, I'm still sort of looking at October because it just seems to be a better time travel-wise. Then I'm able to get my husband off of, request his days off. So I think that's going to be still what I'm going to shoot for. And that's about it. My next update will come soon. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet. But if you have ideas of things that I should talk about, please let me know below, because, I don't know what to do with these things, other than, I was just going to wait till after every something happens with the process. One thing that I wanted to end with is, it's kind of like it's a small world type of thing. My primary care physician actually referred me to another doctor, another bariatric surgeon. And when I went to go see that one in the middle of May, I really liked her. She was bubbly, she was enthusiastic, she knew her stuff, and I really felt good about her. She had really good reviews. I checked her out online, and she had really good reviews from patients and things like that. So I was really happy with her, and so was my husband. And then we found, and then she, it just was going to be too expensive for me because she was not in my network. So I went through the research of finding a doctor that was in my insurance network. And I did find somebody, and he also had good reviews, great reviews online and stuff like that. And he was more laid back, kind of more calm, very easygoing. And I liked him too. I liked him right off the bat. I actually saw an interview online on YouTube that he did after a book that he wrote. So just from that, I was like, I kind of got a good feeling about him. And then I went to go see him, and my husband and I really liked him as well. Well, it turns out that the first doctor that I saw, the really bubbly one, she's married to this one. Yeah. And sometimes she assists him in his surgeries. Isn't that amazing? When I found out, I was blown away. I'm like, oh my God, I love both of these doctors, and the fact that they're married, and that, I guess they complement each other, because one is so bubbly and one is so laid back. I guess it works. But that is it's a small world anecdote, and that is my update for you. So I look forward to continuing to see a lot more YouTube videos and a lot more Instagram accounts that I can follow. So I hope you all have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye.